Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to the second week of this massive open online course on Let Us Fight AMR and awareness about antimicrobial resistance. After the first week, wherein we discussed about what microorganisms are, we tried to understand about the microbial world, the types of microorganisms, human microbiome. Now it is time for us to take a step ahead in understanding about how we control microorganisms. What do we exactly make use of so that we can stop microorganisms from growing or even kill them for that matter? So, to begin this second week, let me tell you all that this week is going to be very interesting in terms of understanding how we control microorganisms on a daily basis. And mind you, when we talk about controlling microorganisms, we all are involved in this process of control. It's not always doctors, nurses, or medical personnel, but we ourselves also do some activities on a daily basis so as to control the growth of microorganisms. So let us plunge into understanding the very first concept about what antimicrobial agents exactly are. As usual, we will begin with the discussion of some basic terminologies. The very first terminology that we are going to discuss today is about pathogens. What exactly are pathogens? Any microorganism that has the ability to cause an infection is what we refer to as a pathogen. Mind you that bacteria, fungi, virus, protozoa, we have organisms in each of these categories which act as pathogens. But we should also keep this in mind that all bacteria are not pathogens. There are few bacteria which can cause an infection, while the others are totally harmless. Same applies for fungus, protozoa, and virus as well. So all microorganisms are not pathogenic. Few of them are, few of them are completely harmless. Let us now understand about antimicrobial agent. The term itself actually speaks a lot. Whenever you have the word anti or anti as you pronounce it, it stands for against. So when you use an agent which acts against microorganisms, which either destroys them, stops them from growing and multiplying, kills them, you call such agents as antimicrobial agents because these agents work against microorganisms. Now the question arises, when we talk about antimicrobial agents, are we speaking only about medicines? Of course not. There are several other agents which we make use of in our day-to-day lives which are antimicrobial agents. For example, whenever you want to protect the food from getting spoiled, you want to increase its shelf life, you make use of something called as preservatives. Preservatives are also antimicrobial agents because they stop microorganisms from growing in food and spoiling the quality of food. So even preservatives are antimicrobial agents. You may have gone to a swimming pool, and in the swimming pool you would have sensed a very strong smell of chlorine. Chlorine is indeed added in water as an antimicrobial agent. You may be using phenyl on a daily basis to clean the floor in your house. That phenyl is an antimicrobial agent. Your detergent powder contains quaternary ammonium compounds, which is an antimicrobial agent. The spices that you consume, right from ginger to turmeric, cinnamon, cloves, all these have antimicrobial components in it. The neem ka kadha that you normally consume, or tulsi water that you consume, it has antimicrobial agents. There are so many different, compounds that are surrounding us in nature which have an ability to act against microorganisms. Whenever we talk about control of microorganisms, it is very important for us to know that there are two broad categories of agents that work for control: physical agents and chemical agents. Let us start, discussing the physical agents first, and then we will come towards chemical agent, because chemical agents is the crux of our course. We are studying about antimicrobial resistance, and we are going to speak about chemical agents in more details. Physical agents is just an introduction. We are not going into much details of it. So when you talk about physical agents, you have temperature. Anything that we consume at home, normally when it is cooked, when it is exposed to heat, we are less worried about, if it has microorganisms in it or not. Because higher temperature has the ability to control microorganisms. Maybe not all microorganisms are killed at higher temperature, but majority of them are killed at higher temperature. That's why you boil drinking water, isn't it? Or you cook food at higher temperatures. One of the reasons for cooking is dealing with microorganisms. In the olden days, when there were no hospital facilities available, during the delivery of a baby, which was normally done at home itself by experienced elderly females in the family, they had a practice of boiling all the tools that they used during the delivery, like knives, scissors. They used to boil all of that in boiling water multiple times. This was a measure taken to kill microorganisms so that no infection is caused to the mother and the baby. Similarly, lower temperature is also used for control of microorganisms. How is that done? So take example of refrigeration. You refrigerate bread, vegetables, you refrigerate other food materials so that it doesn't get spoiled. Because lower temperature has an ability to control the growth of microorganisms. And hence refrigeration has become one of the most common ways to increase the shelf life of the food. Even the milk that you use at home, you refrigerate it so that it doesn't get spoiled. Of course, all this depends on the temperature that you are making use of. So both higher and lower temperatures can be a measure of controlling microorganisms. But mind you, there are some organisms which can grow at higher temperature, and there are some microorganisms which can grow at lower temperatures. And that's why even after refrigeration, you see that some food products still get spoiled. Because there are some organisms which can grow well even at those lower temperatures. So it's not foolproof. It depends on what you're dealing with and how exactly are you trying to deal with these organisms. In the next part of the video, we will try and discuss the other methods in detail, the other physical methods and chemical methods as well. Till then, stay tuned.